Hello everyone and welcome to this session about APA referencing. I am Rosa Groen. I work at the European Studies program of the Hague University of Applied Sciences and as a researcher at the European Impact Hub, or Changing Role of Europe Lectorate. What is APA? It stands for American Psychological Association, and it's a way to cite your sources. Be like the credible Hulk and always cite your sources. This session is about formal use of APA, reliable sources, how to find them, different types of sources, author or organization, what to fill out, how to merge sources, creating a bibliography in APA, and about figures and tables. APA referencing is just one of the different styles that is used in academia to cite your sources. When you do not cite your sources correctly, it's plagiarism. And plagiarism is a very serious offense for a researcher. So it's very important to realize that if you use words or ideas from other people, that you need to cite them, or you need to at least refer to them correctly. We always use the APA style at the Hague University of Applied Sciences, but also in many journals they use that. And it's for every report or writing assignment you do, it's important to use this. All the sources are used twice in a document. You use it in the document and you use it and at the end of the document at the bibliography or the reference list. The simple use, I have an example here, is that you, for example, write something about different criteria in the field of network effectiveness studies, and then at the end of the sentence, you cite the source. So what you need to see in your APA reference is the writers, the authors, and the year. When you use APA in-text referencing, you, for example, talk about two authors, Sorensen and Torfing, and then the last names are in the text, so you only need the year of the publication at the end of your sentence. What is also possible is that you cite someone word by word, and then you need inverted commas and only the page number if you were already referring to those authors before. When you use inverted commas or an exact line of someone's text, then you always need to refer to the page number, logically, because then you can search it back as a researcher and you are reading that and you want to use that. So what are reliable sources? Use academic textbooks or the website of the European Commission, the Council or Parliament. Use journal articles and look in the database of the library of the Hague University or any other university if you're watching this from outside. Use reliable websites of official organizations and reliable newspapers or news websites. Do not use Wikipedia as a source. You can use the sources that Wikipedia uses and cite them, but Wikipedia is not a credible source per se. Do not use blogs, online posts, or opinions as a reliable source, unless you are very sure that this person is a very reliable person to base your text on. So really look critically at the sources if you are searching for credible data. How can I find these sources? Well, think like the document. So if you are looking for a report about a specific topic, then use the words report and then the keywords of the specific topic. Use Google Scholar. Use the THUAS library, ask for help, and search with one or two logical search terms. You can also use the snowball effect. So if you have one credible source or journal article or a book, then you can see in their reference list what they used and see how you can find their reliable sources. But always start with the most recent journal article, so you are not very behind in information. We are going through different types of sources now. I'm going to show you in Word how to do that. These are the different types that we are going to address, but there are more options in the Word reference. So when you cite from a book, the APA book citation will look like this. You first see the author, the first two initials, then the year, then the book title, and then the publisher. But this is not something that you have to make yourself. This is APA that is making that in the bibliography section. So when you use a book, you paraphrase, for example, from the book, and then you will see at the end of the sentence, author, year. So for proper research, we recommend using this style, Michel Brink, 2006, and then you end the sentence. But you can also use the author first and then only use the year. So as I said before, if you cite literally from the text, you use inverted commas and you use the page number. When you quote someone, use the page numbers. So how to do that, I will show you right now. For example, we have this text. It's not in English, it's in Dutch. But you can use, for example, something went wrong here because this is a citation from a website. We are going to look at the source, so bron bewerken, and we see that the author is the United Nations. Well, this author is not a person, right? It's an organization. So we use author is organization, and we use the English name of United Nations. So then it will change into United Nations, 2022. Then what was I explaining? How hover over the citation. Yes, so you want to use a page number because you're, for example, really citing someone literally, and then you use this first button. So you add a page number. So it's, for example, page 82. And you don't want the author there, you don't want the title there, you only want the author and the year and page 22. So then it will say Wijngaard, and this did not go well either. So it's not an organization, this is a person. So you use Wijngaard, but it's not Wijngaard, it's actually Van de Wijngaard, Catharina, Johanna Catharina Maria, that's fine. And then you will see Van de Wijngaard, 2012, page 82. So that's what you do if you are really citing someone's text with inverted commas. So this is not a book, it's a website. I think you use a lot of websites yourself, but in a book it will look like this. In her theory, Kate Raworth states that it is irreversible that companies need to work on circular economy, 2020, page 91. So if you have more than one source and you want to put them together like this, the number of SMEs, small to medium-sized enterprises, has increased the last decade. Then you want to do that in a chronological order, you see that? So we are going back to the Word document, and for example, we want to use different sources in one place. So this is Vredespaleis, which is Peace Palace. And then we go to verwijzingen or references. You look at the reference list and then you say, I want to use more sources because it's not only the Vredespaleis, but it's also Van Ommeren and Tilburg, and it's also the United Nations that are stating this. So we have 3 sources, and they're in one APA reference, and then after that we end the sentence. So if we are looking at an article from a website, you will see in the reference list author's last name, first initial, year, month of the day, title of the article, website name, and the URL. So we will look at website now. If you are in a Word document, you refer to the author of the website and the name of the website. So let's look at this source and let's see what the students did with a website. We go again to United Nations, we look at their source, and then we go to the website. So bear with me, we go to the website. I will show you their website. And as you can see, in the United Nations website, you can see SDG 16. Okay, so we want this article from the website, we want to cite that. Well, we can see that this website doesn't have an author. So the author is actually the United Nations, and we look at the URL and we see UNRIC, which is then the author of the website. So UNRIC, which is the UN, a regional information center of the United Nations. So it's true, there is no author of this article on this website. What is important is that you open this tab to show, and my student did this well, what day you looked at this website. So first is the year and the day, the month and the day of publication of the website, and then when you refer to it, you have to refer to it as well. We will do this in English and make sure that it is filled out correctly. All right, so now it changed from United Nations to UNRIC, which is the name of the website. So that about articles from websites. Then we use articles from journals or periodicals. And this is how it looks like in the reference list. So if you have a journal article, it's very important to open and unfold the box again and look at the name of the journal, but also the issue number and the page. So let's assume that they did not do that, and we make a new source. It says article in vaktijdschrift, which is what we mean by journal, article, or periodical. And let's say that this is the journal article, and for example, we are looking at a journal article, and it's called, okay, we take a new one from 2014, and we first fill out the last name, then the second author, first the last name, and then the first name, the title of the article, then the name of the journal, which is the Journal of European Public Policy, the year of the article. And it always, when you print an article or see it on the website, it always says how to cite it. So you can look at this and see how to do it. So which page numbers of that journal is it? Well, this is a very thick journal, so it's page numbers 1293 to 1310, and then you make sure that you open the more boxes to say which issue number it was. This is very important because otherwise the people cannot find it back. Then we are done. You can also say Routledge, Taylor and Francis Group, which is the publisher, and it doesn't say where, so we leave it like that. And then it says in the text Margetti and Giraldi 2014. So this is how you cite a journal article. If you want to say something about how Margetti and Giraldi write in their journal article, then you can take them out of the APA and you say as Margetti, and you don't use the and sign, but you use text Gilardi stated, the European Union something states about soft rules the following, then you don't need this citation with their names in it. You only need the date. How do you do that? You hover over the box, you say you want to change this particular source, and you suppress the author and the title, and you add the page number, which is, well, we saw the range of page numbers just now. It's on the second page of the article. You are saying okay, and then it says as Margetti and Giraldi 2014, page 1294 stated, the European Union states the following about soft rules. Well, this is obviously made up, but it's important that you know that if you use the authors already in your sentence, you only need a year, and if you're citing someone literally, you need the page numbers in the text, in the reference. So this about the journal article. The newspaper article is similar, although, of course, you need to cite a newspaper. So, and in most newspapers, there is an author, right? So if you are on a website and you say, well, I'm going to look at the Financial Times website, and I'm going to look at an article, then most of those articles have an author, right? So this is Gideon Rachman. We are, for example, using this article, G7 ready to explore caps on energy prices to curb Russian revenues. I'm not a subscriber, so I cannot read this this article, but if I am on the website of the Hague University of Applied Sciences, I can open it. So I hope you understand that it's similar to making a reference for an article from a journal. So it's a different tab. It's newspaper or journal. You have the author. What did we say? The author is Gideon Rachman. So last name, comma, first name. We have the title, which you can copy paste, which is very easy from websites. And of course, you can also use Financial Times, the year, the month, the day, and the pages. Well, on the websites it's difficult to see, but if it's not on a website, you can of course use the page numbers. And then we see Rahman 2022. We make sure that the sentence ends afterwards, and if two websites are or articles are saying the same, then we can say, well, those two are doing the same, so it's not only nu.nl, it's also Rahman from the Financial Times. So now those sources are merged. Referring to other sources, so maybe you've collected sources yourself by making pictures, by sending emails, by doing an interview. If you have permission, you can use the interview and the email in the appendix of your paper. And if you can refer to an interview transcribed in the appendix by saying interview 1, see appendix number 1 or 2. Or interview 2, see appendix number 3. What do you do if you make the mistake, what we have seen before, if the author is not an organization? Well, as you have seen, some student of mine used United Nations and stated it in the reference as an author. Well, obviously the United Nations is not a person, but if you do that and you say United Nations because you think, well, this is the author, then it's not a good reference because it says Nations 2022. So you need to know when is your source an organization and when is it actually a person. So notice this this books, you check it when it's an organization. So and then it will state the whole organization as the source and not as a person. Double check if the author is an organization or not. What if it's looking wrong, your APA reference? Well, if the title is in the source, which you don't want, obviously, then you can suppress the title, right? So we've seen that before. We look at the source, we say open the source, and then we try to suppress the title. Okay, so what if it looks wrong? Then check if you didn't check the box author is organization. How to merge sources, I showed you just now. You stand in the reference and you say, I want not only United Nations to have said this, but I think that Margetti and Ghilardi also said this. So it's two sources in one reference. How to make a reference list. Now we come at the end of the paper that you were writing, and the reference list is quite important because in the reference list is the first place where people will look. So how to make a reference list? Look at this box above under APA. It says bibliography. You open it and it will state all the references. Now I see a mistake, and you always need to check your reference list. It's nu.nl, it's Europe nu, so it's not nu.nl, it's a website, europa.nu, and it went wrong. So we're going to look at this reference. Always check your sources when you are in the last phase. So we see that the students didn't see that the website was not, that the author was not a person, which is not a problem, but you have to change that before you hand something in. So the website is called Europa Nu. So this is how you cite that source. then it didn't change immediately in the bibliography. You should change this when you have the Dutch version. But you can say, I want to refresh the bibliography, and then it says Europa Nu, and it changed also in chronological order. So this is important to check if all the last names are with a capital, and if all the persons that you are referring to are actually in the reference list. Update the reference list, check the capitals, check if you did not forget any source, check each source on completeness. If you have an image on the front page, then also refer to that image. So for example, we have an image of EU mobile citizens on the front page, then you can say at the end of your reference list, image front page, European Commission. You need to first insert this reference, of course, and then later you can take that out from your reference list and place it under the reference list with a bold heading, image front page. What's the consequence if you do not cite your sources? It's very bad because it's plagiarism, so you have to go to the exam board and you have to tell the exam board why you did not cite authors correctly. You are actually stealing someone else's ideas. Then last but not least, figures and tables. Use the numbers referring to the chapter number. So this is figure 1.1 from chapter 1, and it's about marketing process model from Kotler, and it's from the book Baker 2008. So also cite the book that you have a model from, right, in your heading for the figure. Tables start numbering again, so the figures are numbered in a certain way and the tables are figured differently. So this is actually not figure but table 1.2.1, development of the dot-com crisis, and in the text you can say figures and tables, and in the text you can say, as is visualized in figure 2.1, there was a sharp increase of activity during the dot-com crisis. So it's very important, if you have a figure, a table, or something else, then always refer to it in the text. You cannot use a figure and not refer to it, because then it's useless to use the figure. If you made a figure yourself, for example, I made this picture of the tiger in Artis, the Zoo of Amsterdam, then you say figure 7.1, tiger in Artis, and then you refer to your own picture. Okay, so how to write a citation? Look at this flowchart, and if it's not doable in 15 minutes, then please go to the librarian and ask for help. Ask for help to your lecturers. You can always send an email to me or to any of your other lecturers, and then we can help you out. So good luck with this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.